everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be using my knife blade that I haven't used before to cut some heavy chipboard. And this is the piece that I'm going to be making. It's a little ornament keepsake, and I'm planning on putting it onto the front of a birthday card for my friend, and I'm going to go through how to cut it, how to design it and all that sort of stuff. The chipboard that I'm using today is the Cricut branded 2mm thick heavy chipboard. It is for use in the Maker series of machines, so it will work in the original Maker and in the Cricut Maker 3. At the moment I don't think it's supported on the Explore Air series of machines. I have looked on the guide on the Cricut website and I can't see heavy chipboard listed on there, so if you've got a Maker, this project is for you. So let's get started with cutting some chipboard. This is the heavy chipboard that I'm going to be using for this project. It is the Cricut Heavy chipboard, and it's made especially for the Maker and for the Cricut Knife Blade. You get 5 sheets in here and they are cutting mat sized. So let's get this out. I have let this breathe for a few hours in the craft room first of all, so it's ready to cut. Let's open up this pack. So you can see the thickness of this chipboard is quite substantial, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this cuts with the Cricut Maker. This is the design that I've chosen to do today with my heavy chipboard, and originally I had done it a little bit differently and used more of a script font, and I'll show you that now. It's somewhere on here. There it is. Okay. So I originally started off with this lovely script font. This is my go-to for all sorts of cake toppers and things like that. It's October Twilight, and I bought this font on, I think it was Creative Fabrica. It cost me about £6.50 or something like that. And I use it all the time, so it was well worth the purchase. However, on this occasion, it didn't really work out that well because these pieces here were too small and too intricate for the knife blade to cut on the heavy chipboard, and the first 2 or 3 passes were okay, but this part started to lift, and I'll show you a bit of footage now of that, but it wasn't any good, so I ended up scrapping the cut after about 6 passes, so I wasted about an hour, which was really annoying. So then I came back to the computer and redesigned using a chunkier font with less small intricate bits, and this is what it ended up looking like. I made the circle and the bit on the top just using basic shapes, so just going in there and getting a couple of circles, and all I did was make the one a little bit smaller than the other and select both. I then aligned them in the centre so they were nice and central, and then sliced out the middle. And I did exactly the same thing with this part, and all I did with that was just got myself another circle and I made it into an ellipse like so, and then again copied and pasted another one in, and I popped it underneath there like so and made it a little bit smaller. I centered that again, and then I selected both and again sliced out the centre. So now I've got this round shape here. Then I got my other one and I looked at that there to see what was going on. Then I got myself a square and I put that on there like that, selected both, sliced it out again, which then gave me a flat surface at the top there to attach my little hoop to. Then again select all. I then centered them horizontally and I welded the two pieces together to make the shape, and then I could get my wording and make sure they're touching and welded, because otherwise your knife blade is going to cut through these pieces and it won't be joined together when you've got it all done. So I have cut out a smaller piece of the chipboard and I'm going to put it onto my mat now. So you need to use a strong grip Cricut mat for this if you are using the heavy chipboard. So I'm just going to pop that onto there, and what you'll need to do is use some masking tape to tape down your chipboard to your mat. This just stops it from moving around during the cut. It's really important that it's really nicely stuck down onto the mat, because if it does start to move, it's going to really ruin your design. So let's just stick this down. Alright, so that's nicely stuck down. So let's just grab my ruler. And I'm going to now resize on screen my design. So my piece of chipboard is just under 15 centimeters, so I'm going to make this about 10. Okay, so the design is resized on the screen. Let's go to make it. Okay, and there it is on my screen, ready to go. I can see my sizes are all good in relation to where the piece of chipboard is placed onto my mat. So I'm going to click on continue. Now we need to choose our material setting. So let's go up to browse all materials, and we're just going to go into the search box and type in heavy chip and press enter, and it's the 2mm heavy chipboard. So just select that, you'll see the little tick come up there, and then click on done. Now that's ready to go, and on the screen it's telling me that I need to move all the star wheels all the way to the right, make sure the material's no wider than 11 inches, well it isn't, and secure it to a strong grip mat. Secure it to a strong grip mat using masking tape on all four sides, which is what we have done. So now we need to make sure we've got our knife blade in the machine and we can get going with the cut. Okay, so the machine is ready now to do our cut. So I've got my knife blade here. You can see it's very similar on the top to the rotary blade. It has the little cog there, and we need to line this up with the inside of clamp B. So what we're going to do is just open clamp B, take out the fine point blade, and then you can see that this has got a plastic housing on the top. So I like to hold it by the plastic housing, and then I just pop it in the machine, line up the cogs here with the cog on the back, and close that. Okay, and that's ready to go now. So now we can insert the mat. So just need to make sure that all our star wheels are moved over to the right hand side, because if these were still on the mat where they normally are, which is around here, here and here, you would get little dimples on your wood or your chipboard, and we don't want that to happen. So let's just line up the mat with the two little feeding grips on the right hand side, and then we can press the double-ended arrow. Okay, and we're ready to go. The flashing C is already on. Let's press that. Now the machine has started the cut, we can see on the computer screen how many passes the machine is expecting to do. So it's telling me that it's cutting pass 1 of 24 passes. I don't honestly expect it to take 24 passes, so I'm going to keep checking my machine and just making sure that it hasn't cut through my material and into my mat. This is the 4th pass of 24 and it's looking pretty good. There's no debris coming off the design yet. So I'm quite pleased with how it's working. It's saying an hour and 22 minutes and it's fluctuating up and down really, between an hour and 22 and about an hour and 25, and it's just going up and down as we go along. So I'm going to keep checking on it. I'm going to let it do, I think, about 5 passes, maybe 6 passes, and then I'll pause it and see how it's getting on. This is pass number 8. So I'm going to pause the cut just by pressing the pause button on the machine. And you can see there's a little bit of debris that's coming away. These are the pieces that we would weed out normally. So they're coming out themselves. I'm just going to use a weeding tool just to have a quick look and make sure it's not gone all the way through yet. It's close to it. So I'm going to just click on the go again to resume the cut. I'll let it go for another 20 minutes or so and then check it again. This is a different design that I'm going to show you now because I lost the footage of the Scottish 40 to show you at the end of the cut, but this is fine. So this is a really simple Christmas tree design that I just put together on Design Space, and it's been cutting for 35 minutes and it's finished. So I'm going to show you now how it looks when it's done. So I'm hoping that this hasn't cut through my mat because I went and had a shower when it was cutting because I didn't think it would take too long to do that. But okay, so all you need to do is just lift up and you can see that it's cut all the way through perfectly. So now you can eject your mat and take it off the mat completely. When your machine has finished and it's done all of the passes that it wants to do, you'll get this screen come up on your computer and it's asking you to check your cut and see whether it's gone through. So do it like I just have now while the mat is still in the machine. Don't eject it, and then you can either press looks good, so eject your mat, or if it needs another cut you can do that by pressing on the flashing C. If you need more information, click on the how do I check my cut and it'll take you to Cricut's website for more info. Okay, so I've just lifted up this little piece here, so I'm just going to take the whole thing out because it's just coming off the mat fine. It hasn't cut through my mat. I can see the design on my mat, but that's just little bits of dusty debris from the actual chipboard, so that's okay. And then this is the design, so we can just pop out the negative bits, which is what we would weed if it were vinyl or whatever. So that's on there. The only thing that's a bit dodge is the top part there because I've added a little square into it, but it's fine. And you can see how it has cut over the masking tape. It doesn't cause it a problem to cut through the masking tape there, so you can definitely not worry about aligning your piece of chipboard with the very edge of your mat here. So this is ready to decorate. I'm just going to switch back now to the Scottish 40 project. So here's the finished cut. It took 1 hour and 20 minutes there or thereabouts. It's cut really nicely. It didn't take the full amount of passes. It was wanting me to do 24, but it actually took about 14 passes, just under 15 because I stopped it halfway through the 14th pass. It's come out really nice. It's a nice clean cut, and you can see on the other side that it's gone through really well. I think if I was going to do it again, I would be inclined to mirror my image and cut it out backwards because I like the way it looks on this side as opposed to this side with the raw cuts. You can see it's going into the edge piece a little bit more there, and on the back it hasn't done that, so I think I would probably mirror it and just try it that way around. I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. I'm going to decorate this piece and I'm going to put it onto the front of a birthday card for my friend Scott, who is obviously turning 40, and I'm hoping that he will use it as a bit of a keepsake for his birthday. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you have, I'd love to see you here for the next one, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop me any comments or questions that you have down below. I always try to answer them as quickly as I can. So all that is left to be said is have a great week, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye!